I bought this wonderful wedding photo from an auction as I recognised the bride, but what I discovered was truly heartbreaking. Around 3 years ago, an elderly gentleman who had lived close by passed away. I had known him since I was a small child and had gotten to know him over the years. His wife Joyce had passed away a few years previous, and I had had a few conversations with him in the past about his family history. And as they never had any children, I thought it would be sad that his old photos would be thrown away. To my surprise, the photos appeared in the auction. I left a bid for a table full of around 200 photos, and another bid for some larger photos, which also belonged to my old neighbour. Unfortunately, I lost the bid for the large table of photos, but I won the larger photos. One was this fantastic wedding photo. On closer inspection, I realised this wasn't the same man who lived down my road. After visiting another elderly neighbour, she told me Joyce had been married before, and her first husband was a prisoner of war who never returned home. I researched her life and discovered she was born in Peterborough, Cambridgeshire in 1926. Her parents moved to King's Lynn around the 1930s, where her father worked on the railway. In 1946 she married Frederick William Shelton, and this was the man in the photo. He was born in Upwood, Huntingdonshire in 1922. A newspaper report from May 1953 revealed his tragic fate. It said, while for one Lynn family, this week of jubilation with Private Raymond Fish on his way home after release from a Korean prisoner of war camp, for another, it was a week of sorrow. A letter came through the door at 33 Milton Avenue, home of Mr. and Mrs. A.J. Ashman, addressed to their daughter Joyce Shelton. It was from the War Office, and it bore the sad news that Mrs. Shelton's husband Frederick had died of dysentery in communist hands in August 1951. News had reached the authorities via the word of mouth from one of the released prisoners. It said he was one of the Glorious Gloucesters, captured in the Imjin River action of April 1951. He was 29 when he died. Fred was a regular soldier on a 12-year enlistment and had only another month to do of his service when he was called to go to Korea in October 1950. Joyce told the reporter he and Joyce were married at St Faith's Church, Gaywood 6 years ago. They then lived at Upwood in Huntingdonshire, where Fred's home was and where he was stationed. Joyce had a letter soon after the Imyun action to say that he was a prisoner of war. After that, she never received a letter from him, and none of her letters reached him. My neighbour told me that Joyce waited patiently and wasn't sure whether to remarry. Eventually, she married David Johnson in 1958 and moved in to a newly built house in my village. So rest in peace. You will be remembered.